This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve. Again, this morning, we begin our drive here at the Gari Dam, but looking at the grey heron on its search for possible frogs, fishes, and then it was also all various different bird species that were seen this morning when we came to the dam here, as well as these helmeted guinea fowl that you can hear on the far distances. So this is a sign of the greater rise of the African morning out here on Mpumalanga, Greater Kruger National Park. So in the meantime, if we jump aboard to your very own live safari through the African bush. Good morning, everybody, again. So we're still static here right on top of the Gari Dam wall. And then to tell that it's actually on Gari Dam, you also experience some of the people's noises from the camp, because it's not actually far away. So they're also getting mobile or getting ready to head out to the bush, search for the animal. But ourselves, we're here at the Gari Dam and then looking at these grey heron and also some Egyptian geese, which they're doing a lot of their activity, but it's all about the breakfast and feed and all that. So my name is Andrew this morning, and I still have BK on camera. So we're going to be taking everybody from this area, started to do our search. Hope we'll get actually very successful over our search this morning. We came to the right place where Talamati, they were actually seen around here, and then we got a tracks there leading west from this point, and then we're gonna probably track them down, see if we can find them. And that, everybody remember, we're coming to you live, so we would love to hear from you. And if you can send us or comment and questions, you can use hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, and then also at FC on YouTube. For those of you under the age of 18, perhaps, you can still use kids' questions WildEarth at wildearth.tv. And then also easy way to go register on WildEarth website, head over to the live safari page. Then you can submit your question there. We'll be answering them for you live. These Egyptian geese, they always pair, male and female. They don't like to be mixed. And then you can see that just behind the heron there's a blacksmith lapwing also sitting around. And this morning, Lorraine, she'll be also searching on the far south of these camp, which is towards Gari Main, that side, possibly maybe into Chitwa if it happens. And then myself, I'm going to be carrying on, trekking on this pride of line. And we have a dike in Ngala also, who would be mobile about search also for the animals, as well as in Pride Land with the Steve, they also come out. Phinda Kim also would come out to join us if it's possible. So this is how we're going to be taking everybody out on safari this morning. So a grey heron, more likely to spend a lot of time foraging around the edge of the watering hole for such food. Everybody, let's quickly look at the weathers.
Good morning and welcome to andBeyond Phinda Private Game Reserve. As you can see, we've got a stunning morning ahead of us. See the mist starting to roll in the lower lying areas. We're busy sitting watching this most beautiful sunrise today. It's a really nice clear day, a little bit crisp, a little bit of chill in the air, but not a breath of wind. It's sometimes nice to just stop and watch the sun rise on a beautiful morning. We actually had some excitement around here earlier. We had a bit of impala and monkeys alarm calling, but they seem to have stopped. Now, it was quite interesting. The monkey wasn't doing its normal alarm call. It was just doing like a one sharp note, which makes me think it was probably not a predator, maybe a snake or a bird. They've got different alarm calls for different threats. And I think the impalas sort of just picked up on the alarming and then alarmed as well. So our plans for today, we're not really sure yet. Maybe we just take it as it comes and see what we find. But my name is Kim, and behind the camera we have Glenn, and we're going to be with you today. So let's hope that we get a bit of African magic this morning and that the animals come out and we get lucky. The reason I'm so indecisive is there's so many beautiful parts of this reserve, and I'm just not quite sure which part I want to go driving in this morning. Maybe a different section from yesterday, so we'll see. We'll see where the day takes us. So stunning just to watch that mist coming in though. Don't know if you can hear those noises in the background. We're actually quite close to our lodge. We've just driven out of our lodge this morning. So a whole lot of guests are still getting up, getting ready, waiting to see where they're going to go on safari today. And all the birds calling around us. Interesting that the monkey is going so quiet. Obviously, whatever it was alarming at earlier decided it's no longer a threat. I think what we'll do is we're going to start heading off. I'm just going to turn around, see if we can start on our safari. Maybe head towards the same area we were in yesterday, but go a bit further north into a really beautiful section of the reserve that's often a bit too far for me to drive with guests. But yeah, maybe we'll head in that section today. It would be quite nice to see a little bit of different terrain. And we're very blessed here at Phinda because we've got 7 distinct habitats. So we've got a really diverse landscape, which makes it quite interesting just to drive into the different sections of the reserve, see the scenery changing around you. So it can be quite beautiful just to drive and see the different sections. Now, so we're going to head off, but Lauren wants to say good morning to you all, so we're going to send you over to her.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to one half of the Djuma feats. We've made it to Treehouse Dam. Quiet, beautiful, and extremely smelly. I don't actually even know what that smell is. But my name is Lauren. I do have Darby on camera, and it's really not pleasant. It's not a carcass. It's not fecal. Very, very stagnant water. Unpleasantly so, and I wonder if maybe something is going on here, and that's why we're not really getting many sightings around Treehouse Dam. Definitely algal of some sorts. I wonder if something's off with the water. We used to get a lot of sightings at Treehouse Dam. Hosanna, even Kalamba, Shadulu, Moya. But recently, I don't think I've had one sighting here, not even elephants. But it's still beautiful all the same, even although unpleasant, shall we say. But I think we should bumble because I don't want to smell that anymore. I don't have any plans. I would really like to try and catch up on some of the leopards. Everyone's asking, where are the leopards? It's a good question, you know? Just to even if we don't find them, just to even find tracks and know where they're moving. I do wonder if possibly there's too many lions around. So we're going to bumble on and see what else we can find.
So we are checking these tracks of a lion's pride, which looks like the general direction they were coming towards quarantine, the tracks. And then we're going to check the quarantine. I know we're driving past quarantine nearly, but because they were probably on the move, so it may happen that they've just walk across, that maybe we'll miss their tracks. So we're here to find out about all that. Just not too sure what happened to a duck man and that young male and a female there. When we left them, they were actually heading straight west and looked it to me like they're gonna maybe cross over to the west, the way they were moving. So and it also just looked like the whole pride over here, the other 7 members, they have moved. They've been in this quarantine, so maybe it happens they reach far that side there. Triple M boundaries. And that Triple M boundary separating with the Djuma and Simambile and all of that. But if they're going to cross into Simambile, we would follow them still.
Good morning. Welcome to Prydens. Welcome to Eco-Trading Prydens here on a very misty and overcast grey day. My name is Steve and I'm joined by Scat on camera. And while with the mist and with the dew, it's going to be a wonderful morning to look for spider webs and condensation on the plants and the change in daylight temperatures. Here we go. Very nice web over there. The orb web, tropical orb web spider. And most people don't realize how many spiders there are around until there's a little bit of dew. And very easily characterized by that web that looks pretty much like a tent. It's quite an atypical sort of design and a very adaptable family of spiders, the tent webs, part of the Randomorphs, so the web building group. The tropical tent web spiders are actually occurring pretty much across the world, North and South America and Africa. They're part of the orb weaver group. Very, very pretty. When the sun comes out after all this dew, these webs stand out quite proudly. So as with many of our birds that we have still hanging around, they have specialities with regards to hunting insects at this time. And our spiders, they obviously just have a big net or web hanging out waiting to catch individuals as they move through. But that outer area of the tent itself is not very adhesive. So it doesn't require it to be spun every day like many other spiders do. The web itself is actually designed to funnel the prey into a sort of more trap-like area where the adhesive web occurs. That's obviously where more damage is done or where more weaving is required. So this morning, we're just going to be bumbling about, seeing what we can find in the mist. There's a lot of condensation on the grass, so we'll see how we go. Tracking this morning will be interesting, but we'd like to do a few more tracks. But we'll see what happens with the weather, because it is looming, overcast and grey, and we're not sure if we can expect some precipitation. But let's send you over to Dyke and see what the conditions are like on his side.
Good morning and welcome everybody on your African live bush safari. And my name is Dyke Koza, and on the camera I've got Morgan. So the plan for the morning is we're just gonna drive around and see what we can find. As you can see, this is a beautiful morning, about 15 degrees, which is around 59 Fahrenheit. So yeah, we're hoping to find something really interesting on this beautiful morning, because as you see, this is just a morning that's nice and cool for the predators. If they didn't get successful last night, they may be still moving, trying to get something until late in the morning, and then that's when they're gonna find a spot to lie down for the day. You never know, if it's like this, they might even try the whole day, because it's really cool and nice for them to be moving around. Just behind us, we just saw tracks of those Birmingham sub-adults with the white lawns traveling east on my left here, of which we're just gonna drive this road and hope they cross here. Maybe find them at the carcass, because yesterday they really looked like if they were very persistent to hunt. Even during the day, they were sitting in the sun trying to see if they can spot something, of which is unusual for lions to be lying in the sun and scanning around. That shows those animals were hungry and they really needed something to eat. So let's hope this morning we find them. Even if we don't, there's lots of other species to look forward to, because this is like a big 5 reserve. So like yesterday, as we were trying to look for those lions, got surprised by an elephant. A leopard will be nice this morning, and because leopards hunt as well at night, but sometimes when it's like this, they'll try at this time of the morning. So yeah, let's hope something really nice is gonna come up for us. And then if we don't find any tracks, so we know they possibly somewhere in this block here. But yeah, today is gonna be difficult for vultures as well to pick up thermal, because it's overcast like this. They're gonna have to wait until late, even if those lions are at the carcass, because this is a very large block, and then we'll hardly see vultures. Yes, it is, Michael. Believe me or not, I agree with you 100%. This is one of those best mornings that it's very cool and beautiful, very relaxing, just beautiful to be out here, even if you don't see anything, just like this fresh air and the quietness of the morning, which is really nice. And it's really quiet now. Even the birds are slightly quiet this morning. Normally at this time of the day, you will hear lots of birds calling, but not even a single bird that I've heard this morning. So they're just peacefully quiet, maybe just waiting to get a bit warmer, and then that's when they can start getting more active. Yeah, we're just gonna carry on down this road and hope these lion tracks come somewhere on the road. Or, yeah, as these lions are feeding, sometimes maybe if they're feeding somewhere, there might be hyenas that are trying to get the food from the lions. If we're lucky, we might hear hyenas calling in this area. So that's what we trying to do, driving around here, hoping that either hyenas will lead us to where the lions are, if the lions are on the carcass, but we haven't had any luck as yet. So let's hope we'll find something else before we find the lions that we can look forward to. Yeah, haven't seen a head of buffalo, of which this is a great area. Further behind me, there's a water hole that we hope that if anything, because buffalo rely on water at this time of the year, because as you can look around, there's lots of dry grass, so these animals need to drink. That's what they'll do. First thing in the morning, graze in the direction of water and get some water and graze away from water, and then find a spot to lie down, and then early afternoon graze around again back towards water. So we're hoping if we don't find those lion tracks here or any sign of those lions, we're just gonna loop around, go back to the water and see if anything will be drinking there. So that will be elephant or other species like impala, zebra, giraffe, kudu. You never know, that head of buffalo that I was talking about, they might be there, or a head of elephants, of which it would be really nice to see elephants drinking, because normally you'll see these animals grazing and browsing through this bush, of which is very exciting to see a head of buffalo coming down to drink, because sometimes you get there before anything comes and all of a sudden you look in the distance, see this huge cloud of dust, and you wonder what's happening. All of a sudden one buffalo pops out, and then the next one and the next one, and you start counting sometimes, because we have large heads around here. The largest head is over 1,000 buffaloes. I've seen them crossing the road. I remember I had to wait for almost half an hour for that head to cross the road. Yeah, we're just gonna carry on and see if we can have any luck on the signs of these lions around this road.
Founded in 1973, the Endangered Wildlife Trust has consistently and effectively worked towards achieving our conservation legacy. Contribute to this legacy by visiting EWT's Get Wild eShop and purchase products with a purpose.
We're here at the Advanced Rifle Handling Challenge, which is actually lots of challenges in one to gauge the contestants' skills at different distances and different speeds. This is probably the challenge that the contestants are the most nervous about. So let's get them locked and loaded. Are now doing the Hades halt, where they have to run back and forth to a target, turn, take aim, and shoot. And this simulates a chase in a real environment and gets the heart pumping and the blood pressure up. James gave us a demonstration, and the skill involved in this exercise is remarkable.
This is a battle of two great carnivores of the African wilderness. Whew. Whoa! You don't want to be under those jaws. Definitely, this round goes to the lion. Look at that. Fantastic.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially subalterns and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
So everybody, we got the rock monitor lizard there. Looks like it's probably slept into that. Very nice pose branches of a marula tree. You can see how it just posed there. I doubt if there was any hole around there because it's still quite early for them to show up this time of the morning. And they tend to change spot every time. Even the holes they sleep in, they always return to that. But it will just gonna wait for a warm, and it's gonna probably go down, search for food around here. They actually day active creature, those one. So now we actually had to change a plan, not following up on these bride anymore. We come across the very nice looking track of the male leopard around here, and then it's heading down to kind of like Galago Pain area, which I think is last night. So we're gonna stick with this track and see which male is this. Maybe it's Tingana or a Tortoise Pain male. Or could it be Tabangume, I think. Those three. But we'll find out if we get any luck of finding him. So everybody's saying, you're saying that it looks so comfortable. Indeed, it looks like it. Look at those all the claws. They use them for climbing trees, such as marula trees is a very easy trees for most climber, such as a cat, because the layer, the bark is so soft, and with a creature like these with the sharpening claws, it's quite easy for them to immediately climb right up there. But they're well equipped with these claws for digging around, and they can feed on eggs as well, these creatures, and now they can eat on different various beetles or millipede, which is one of the toxics for most animals out here, that millipede. But they will hibernate this time. They're not around, but they will be back around wherever they hide. So, if you're saying that it's doing impression, good impression, and well camouflage as well. The track that we're actually tracking right now, it literally that leopard walk right past here. With that camouflage, that animal is right there. Probably always impossible for that leopard to spot. And they just look like a color of a tree. They could choose the tree like this because of the way of survive. Even at night, they can still get killed by a leopard. During the day, they're more vulnerable to the most powerful bird out here. It's marshall eagles will prey on a lizard. But I can tell you that water Ngala monitor lizard, it's even larger than that one we see here. The water monitor lizard is bigger in size.
Can you freeze that direction on the top? Yeah. Can you turn your body a bit?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one could be anything from 12 to 15 kg, which the water monitor can reach up to 15-20 kg, and then that's a difference between. But this one you're not actually able to find near a watering hole, and then always in the dry land. Sleep in holes where the water monitor lizard or actually in the water. Permanently, they can actually come out bask when the sun come out. So they can also communicate, use such as a pheromone, and then that way, same with the snake. They can also decode such as Jacobian organ sense by, always pulling their tongues in and out. And that way we're able to tell whether other partner have moved through, when, who, in terms of whether male or females. And most these type of lizards, they well protected in southern Africa due to the African muti and that. We're so lucky that we had a reserve where they are kept in, and there seems to be safe. And they can actually do well in self-defense, where they can use their tail very much strongly if it's anything near around trying to catch it. So everybody, we're going to continue go down, search for, or carry on search for this leopard track.
It is a cool and misty morning. Interesting day for a stroll. Light is very low. Tracking is very difficult. Putting tracks on camera, impossible. It's one of those mornings when you think, do we take our jackets off? No. You never know if it's going to cool more, warm up. Thankfully, have some coffee packed. Always.
Yeah, we've just checked one road and no sign of those land tracks coming out of the block. So we're checking another road, hoping that they'll come out here. If not, they may still in that block onto our right-hand side. Otherwise, unless they crossed through a very dry patch. That's why I'm driving west now, parallel to the Timbavati, which is our dry riverbed, seasonal river, come down in summer after some good rain. And there is a little road that goes off this road that we're driving now. And there's a beautiful spot there, call it Lookout Point. So stop there and look into the riverbed, see if we can have any luck. If they have happened to cross in one very dry patch, hoping that they may be lying somewhere in the riverbed. So that's what we're gonna do, go on to Lookout Point and have a look to see if we can see anything in the riverbed. Otherwise, we're just gonna carry on along this road, maybe circle around and go into the riverbed, because that will be the best place to check if these lands have crossed through a very dry patch that we've missed the tracks. So if we drive the riverbed, if they have crossed, we'll easily find the tracks and start following from there and see what these lands were up to last night. Yeah, so there's hope we're gonna have luck on maybe spotting the lands from Lookout Point or find fresh tracks if there's no sign. Yes, I think that can be one reason, because there's too many of them. Like if they kill an impala, then it's not enough for them. Yes, they do. Another reason is just because of the young males that have reached maturity. So this is about time they get pushed out of the pride by the dominant males. So this is the time when they're gonna start hunting for themselves, or doing most of their hunt by themselves, and until they reach maturity, go somewhere else and find their own pride. So definitely the main reason of the pride splitting is because there's too many of them. When they get something small, not everybody gets to eat. That's when the Birmingham breakaway splitted from the Birmingham pride, because there were too many of them, like 27 lands altogether, including the big males. It was not easy for them to find something that can feed all of them. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop here and look in the riverbed. Like I said, we're gonna go to that beautiful spot called the Lookout Point and see if we can see something from the riverbed. And then if we don't see anything from up here, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go all the way around and go into this riverbed and drive down the riverbed, see if we can pick up fresh signs. Like I said, that will be the best spot if these lions have crossed through a dry patch that we missed the tracks. So it will be easy for us to see the tracks in this riverbed here. And if they don't cross the riverbed, definitely still in that block. Never know, like as I said earlier on, it's overcast and beautiful this morning. These animals may still be moving. It might be worth it as well to double check that road we've driven, because if they're on the move, they might happen to come back onto the road just after when we've driven that road. You never know, may get luck and find them lying on the road. It seems like nothing here that we can see from where we are, and then we're gonna reverse back onto the road and try check the riverbed, see if we can find any fresh signs from these animals. And then let's hope they're gonna come out somewhere on the road and get to see them this morning. So yeah, we're going back to the road and we're gonna go down into the riverbed and drive this riverbed and check to see if we can find any fresh signs of these lions, and hoping that there'll be tracks from them from last night or early this morning that we can follow up on and see if we can find them in the riverbed or cross onto the other side. So yeah, let's hope they're still on the move. Otherwise, if they've decided to lie down somewhere in the block, there will be no tracks on the road, but definitely there will be somewhere in the block. So this afternoon we'll know where to start looking if we've driven around this road that circled this block. So if there's no sign of them, it's definitely in the block here. We might even go down on foot, see if we can find them lying somewhere. But this is a very beautiful day. If they didn't get successful, then I'm sure, 100% sure, they're still on the move and trying to hunt, even though the chances are very slim during the day because of those two white lions that really stands out. They expose themselves, so prey species can easily spot them. It's a little bit easier at night when it's dark because they can hide in the darkness of the night, but in the day like this, then they might easily be seen. So that makes it a little bit difficult for them to catch something in the day, unless they decide to come from behind the rest of the pride. That's when they have a little bit more chance that they can find something. Yeah, I'm hoping to get into the riverbed and find fresh tracks. You never know. The other guys are looking for a leopard in this area. So yeah, let's go into the riverbed and see if we can find some fresh tracks. While we try to do that, we'll go over to Andrew and see if Andrew can find something at Djuma. Good luck with the line. So we're also behind the leopard tracks out here that was coming all the way from the far side. Now we're trying to check these little pen to see if maybe it came to drink, and then from there we're gonna see where he's going finally. It's always so important to track, but also make sure you don't lose the track, because that's how you're going to find it. But perhaps, because the pride of lion yesterday, so it happens maybe he picks up the smells of the lions, and then he decided maybe to change directions. go somewhere else. So Lucy, you're asking, these pens are pumped to fresh water. Yes, they are pumped, filled in, and then it's actually right in front of a Galago camp, so it's well filled in. Every time it's empty, and make sure it's pumped. It doesn't have to be huge things, it just has to be a little a quick water station for those animals maybe thirsty around here. And you got many of those in the whole entire reserve. Many of those in front of their camps, just to provide a little water for the animals, and then it would be enough for such an elephant to come and drink and get it going. So let's carry on search here. In the meantime, let's go across to Kim and Phinda.
Good morning and welcome back. So we have actually got a beautiful view right in front of us. As you can see, we found some buffalo. I think, Glenn, go to those ones just on the right, those two males that have got their horns interlocked. How awesome is that to see? So if you have a look, you can see that boss on the top, that section of the horn that goes just over the top of their heads. It's very smooth on both of them. It doesn't have too many cracks. It's not too worn away. Well, actually, now I'm looking properly. That one is worn away a little bit, but not as much as we see with older bulls. So I think they're not quite the oldest bulls in this herd, but probably more in their prime. Look at the look that this one is giving us. So they were sizing each other up. Now there's always a hierarchy amongst males within a herd of buffalo. So exactly what they're doing. Watch now. They're going to do it again. We're going to quickly send you over to Lauren. I think she's found something interesting.
We've got two hyenas that look very much like they're on the hunt on Chitwa. Sadly, they're running. They're up to no good. Tails are up. You missed them that one, Nicole, now. The car's gone in front. Sadly, Wendy has broken down, everyone. I'm not going to be able to go anywhere. She is no longer turning on. So we'll give you the views of the hyenas from here, but I'm not going to be able to follow. Now, who are you guys? Look at that. Tails up, running around. I think one of them's Luca. I recognize that smiley face. I think there could be a leopard here. Okay, everyone, hopefully we can get the car started, because I have a funny feeling there's a leopard here.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry to poor Lauren. I've been there before. Hopefully she can get her car started again. We're still with these buffalo. It's quite an interesting scene. You can see that all three have lined up in a row. I'm enjoying that one on the far left. It's quite entertaining. It's got a bit of grass behind its ear. But you can see they're sort of sizing each other up. It's actually even got a leaf there. Look at this. It's actually right in front of our vehicle. Now, normally they don't approach the vehicles too closely. In fact, they often give us a bit of a berth here, so this is quite interesting to see. He's being very curious this morning. So we were talking about, the top of the boss there. So you can see this boss is quite smooth. He's a bit of a younger bull. And as we were saying, there's quite a hierarchy amongst all the males. So that's why they would occasionally knock horns, just try and make sure that they've established their dominance. And they'll keep putting that in check to see which one's the bigger one in the top of the hierarchy. And then that bull obviously gets the mating rights with more females. And even within the females of a buffalo herd, there's also a hierarchy amongst them. So the males will want to mate with the higher ranking females because their offspring will inherit their position from the female's position within the herd. I can't believe how awesome this is. I love this. Sorry, I'm just taking this in. Having buffalo all around us, you can actually hear the ones breathing quite heavily. This one's busy chewing. It's actually ruminating. And you can see that oxpecker in its ear, just trying to clean out all those ticks. So the hierarchy, just to finish off that bit of a story, as a buffalo herd moves, especially when they're walking far distances, they often walk in a very specific straight line. And the high-ranking ones are always in the front. And then as their rank decreases, they get towards the back, which is obviously the worst place to be for feeding. And also, it's the worst place for feeding and also to stay away from predators. We're going to stay with these buffalo for quite a while because they are quite happily feeding all around us. But I think Lauren's got another view of those hyenas, so let's send you back there. Never mind, it seems as though her car is still not working. So let's stay with these buffalo for a little bit longer. Here's another bull coming in. I honestly have never had them get this close. It's so incredible. It's interesting that they're all ruminating at this time as well. The ones at the back, they seem to be feeding, but these ones right in front, all regurgitating that food that they've fed on a little bit earlier. They're chewing it down to a finer powder now. The reason I say it's interesting that they're ruminating at this time is they often use the earlier morning, as you can see with most of them feeding around them, to actually use that time to feed. It's nice and cool, they can be out in these open plains now, feeding, and then as it heats up during the day, they then go and find a patch of shade somewhere in a drainage line, lie down and ruminate then. If we look at this buffalo on the right here, Glenn, this one on the far right here, that one there, if we have a look, you can see he's actually got a bit of mud on him. You can see it caked all the way along the sides. So he's been doing a bit of mud wallowing, which is one of their favorite activities. That's also where the hierarchy comes in. is the higher ranking bulls and females will get preference when it comes to mud wallowing. There's often not enough space in a mud wallow for all of the buffaloes to get their chance. So it's very much based on ranking. What's really interesting about this buffalo is if you look at the hips, there's something very wrong with it. We zoom in on that back hip. There's like a massive hip jutting out, and then the belly is completely sunken in at that stage. So I don't think this one's in very good health. I mean, when I'm looking at his boss, it's got quite a few breaks in it. It's got quite a few breaks in it, but I don't think he's that old. So Woodstock has asked what signs they show when they're irritated. Look at this one in front. I think that's probably a good sign that it's irritated. They lift their heads. They lift their heads and they look up at you with their ears spread out wide. That's generally the fact that they're aware. And then they'll snort a little bit. Now the reason I'm not turning on and moving is I think if I turn my vehicle on at this point, it's going to give them more of a fright than anything else. Also, the fact that they've chosen to walk towards us generally indicates that they're comfortable enough to be around you, because it was on their terms that they approached the vehicle. So I think we're still going to sit with these buffalo for a little while. He's slowly moving off to our right. But I don't think you get a chance like this to sit with buffalo so close for so long. It's quite enjoyable just to sit and watch them quietly for a little while, which is what we're going to do for the next bit.
The Endangered Wildlife Trust fights at the forefront of conservation, across the vast karoo and sweeping grasslands, in remote pockets of forest, along road networks, across African skies, and in communities to conserve our wildlife and wild spaces. Help us to protect forever, together. Donate now at ewt.org.za.
We got there, he had probably moved a couple of 100 meters down the river and was about 10 meters from this causeway. So I radioed the lodge quickly and just asked them to bring a land cruiser around and some tow straps. So we thought we were going to try be heroes and save this giraffe. And now a big bull, probably over a ton, he's a big unit. Got the tow strap one side of the giraffe and managed to get it around him with the boat, and the other edge of the tow strap obviously back onto the bank. So we made this U around him because he was lying quite close to the bank. And we put that land cruiser in low range and we just gave it hell and pulled that giraffe, and the tow strap slipped up and we thought, oh no, it's going to slip off the top of the head, and it caught on his ossicones at the top. And that last 10 meters pulled him out onto the bank, and he battled. He was obviously quite weak and all that.
Looks like it's a very difficult climb, because every time it tries to climb, the ground is breaking, so it slides down. But it's the only one. Look at that. That is the call of desperation with a cub. It's like, what are you doing, mommy? Oops. Oof.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
I got into wildlife filmmaking because of a passion for nature and a notion that I could make a difference. Helping others fall in love with nature brings meaning to what I do. It's also a lot of fun. A couple of times per week we receive some very heartfelt messages from viewers telling us about how WildEarth has made a difference in their life, whether it's helped them through a difficult period or simply helped them to reconnect with nature. I think that's why we do what we do.
Welcome back once again to a misty and dewy Providence, where we've caught up with another spider. Now, I couldn't tell you who has made this web, but that is a very characteristic and typical sort of spider web that you can see. The one that everybody would sort of look at in a Halloween sort of outfit, or sort of a universal symbol for the spider web. But once again, a typical type of aranomorph. Aranomorph means those spiders that build webs in trees or wherever it might be, specifically to catch prey with the web. Now, they normally are venomous, or I should say actually all spiders are venomous, but they're normally quite weak spiders, relying on their venom and on the web to subdue the prey. Aranomorphs, web builders. Mygalomorphs are the larger physical type of spiders, like the baboon and the tarantula, that physically hunt their prey with a physical presence rather than with a web. They both are able to produce web, but one uses it for catching and the other one uses it for all sorts of other means. Now, their web is made up of a number of different types of silk. The supporting strands is obviously in the spider's spinnerets. There are a number of different silk glands. And when constructing a bridge, different tensions of wire are required at different points and different elevations or different areas of the bridge's construction. And so in a web as well, there's their anchoring web, which is much stronger, much firmer, possibly not as sticky. And then you get sort of other connecting webs as well as the inner parts, which are often very sticky, very adhesive. And obviously you also get the web that they will wrap around their prey, and then the bungee jumping web. So they're able to sort of just pick and choose the different types of web that comes out of the spinnerets when need be. I think that would be an amazing faculty, to be able to just run along the edge of a cliff and then pop a web down onto the floor and just abseil all the way down, like we see the jumping spiders do so well. I think if we had superpowers, that would probably be one of mine. Flying, or being able to produce a Spider-Man kind of web. Maybe out of my hand would be better than my bottom. I think it would definitely be a better party trick that way, although I think either way would be pretty interesting. I mean, Spider-Man, everybody has fascinated all young boys for as long as time can be remembered of cartoons. I'm sure there's many girls out there that are big fans of Spider-Man as well. Jerome, it's possible they would drink the dewdrops. Many organisms actually can survive on dew. It's how many organisms survive in the deserts. It's because of the dew coming in from the ocean and condensing on plants, on rocks, on animals' bodies themselves. So dew is a very, very important element of gaining moisture, but spiders invariably get a lot of their moisture, or most of their moisture, from the prey that they catch. Insect-eating organisms or predators don't necessarily need to do much drinking or going to water to drink, because their prey has done the work for them and is loaded with liquid-filled hemolymph, a body full of fluid, full of minerals, full of energy. Very pretty in this little thorn bush. Quite an ominous presence, isn't it? But quite picturesque nonetheless.
Yeah, we've checked that riverbed, so there was another vehicle in the riverbed that had the same thoughts as us. We've also checked the other half in that riverbed and no sign of those lands. So we're gonna go north, see if they headed northeast and check the very last road, and then we'll have completed the circle around that block. If nothing comes out on that road, we're gonna move out of the area. But I know, because I'm not alone, there are other vehicles in the reserve, so they dropped quite a few trekkers on foot. They're down on foot, seeing if they can find the exact direction where the animals have headed. So the trekkers are going to be down on foot, try find those lines in that block there. I'm just going to check the one road that nobody has checked. If they've headed in that direction, we'll definitely find those tracks and follow them from that side. And this is going to take us maybe another 10 minutes or so. And if we don't have any luck, we're going to move out of the area and go see if we can find something else. But yeah, otherwise, if the guys find those lines, they'll let us know, because we're always in radio contact. So we'll let each other know when we find something. So if the trekkers happen to find these lines in this block here, and then they'll let us know. So we'll come back to the area and go in with the vehicle and locate those lines with the vehicle, so we'll all get to see them. Let's hope the trekkers find them there. Otherwise, if they don't, they will have crossed the road that I'm going to now, and hoping that they have either crossed the road or they're still in the block. If they're still in the block, then the guys are definitely going to find them this morning, so we'll get to see these lines that we're looking for. Let's hope for some luck. Attempted to follow up pretty much on these male leopard tracks. So eventually it looks like he's actually crossed to the north into Bevelishoek, and that is actually a long walk. Doesn't seem to be maybe scent marking, or, and then it was a directly move. Went drink at the Galago Pen and he cut north straight away in these final tracks. You just cross the boundary to there. But the guys, they're gonna follow up there. So I'm gonna go back to the pride that I was following and then carry on there. Maybe we'll get another leopard, because not only that male that's around here, female also could be around, or another male could be around. So we'll try. Just gonna open an eye, keep an eye in this area, because there also was a So then you're asking what the lion's the biggest of all the cats. Since last year we don't have a tiger, it's the biggest of all cats. And then the secondly, a leopard, male leopard, the bigger. Then got also cheetah, and they're all very small cats, such as caracals. So these are the type of the cats we find here, but they are the biggest of all the cats. Looks like we've got the elephants right ahead of us, which is just gonna stop with them here. Will be good, because I'll be also listening to the sound. Hopefully we get an audio of maybe leopard or lion roaring while we're stopping right here. So elephants, they're one of the animals that they always stand night and day, move about, eat on a lot of different vegetation out here, but also including grasses. Roots from the trees. This is when they push tree down to get these roots. So looking at the female, see how she work with these. The foreleg were able to help break branches, but grab by the trunk, and their tusk will also do the work there when they feed. And the trunk kind of like a slightly colored a little bit because of the wood that elephant has been breaking every time, so it's a little bit painted with those all the bark of trees, but normally it's just a gray color. It looks like there's quite a few of them here, all scattered into the bush. We're lucky that we got this cow actually right on the road. And another one slightly to the left. It's probably going to join the road. Just going to wait right here. Dr. Rocky, bye-bye. So you're asking, what is an elephant's eye? You know, every time when they blink, so it's kind of like a liquid that is literally from their eyes, sort of like, and then it's always about, cleaned every time that animal blink, and then it's actually the way that their eyes would be clean. All animals would do the same. But difference to human, where we do wash our face quite often. With elephants, they naturally dust is everything that may enter our eyes, and then that's a way of cleaning their eyes again. So it's just a naturally chemical from their eyes that coming out of the head. There's another young one here. Oh, there's quite a few of them on the road also, but there's another one on the right hand side. It's a young girl, she's going to push the road, keep up with the rest of the group, which they're already leading right in front. So such a herd lead by matriarch, and then we're on a Galago pen, which maybe they may later on go drink at the pen there, but they're still quite a way off. They're just taking it easy, slowly heading that direction. They have a good memory also, the elephants. They always forage everywhere. So everyone, you say you could watch elephants for hours. They're so cool. They're just so cool. Let's just take a look at them, how they move about and feed. So off they go. So we're gonna roll forward. Hopefully we keep up with them there. So they always use the direction of their water stations every time they move about, which they may drink a few times a day. I can tell you elephants, they need very fresh water, but they also love playing with water as well, so we got them there. Mud wallows, swimming during the hot of the day, and this is what they do just to cool off. When the temperature rises up to Mako, you're asking would the elephants stay within their specific territory? So they move about, actually. They don't stick around quite often. If they're ever stationary in one place for 1 hour, maybe 2 hours, is that they want to rest? Probably maybe because they got what they need. The grass is where the plants is sweet enough, and that they can be stationary. Also, if they are swimming, or then they can be stationary for probably an hour or so, or maybe let the young one rest. But a lot of time they can switch place to another quite often, and they are not territorial. They would roam around freely. Okay, I'm just going to roll forward. Because there's some of them here on the road, so. And this is only a lot of a female that we've seen here with the babies. And the male, they don't always associate with the females. They tend to be all separated. We're more likely to come across one big male or 3, maybe 7 of them in the area. But you see how they would be well scattered far apart. So they prefer that way when they eat. They don't want to be disturbed, and they don't want to push one another quite often, because that happens. The youngest would always get out of their way, so the bigger one always take the spot if there is a nutritious of grasses or plants they may want around. So we're going to carry on this way, go follow up on the pride of lion.
The scribe collected a dry grass, put it next to the water hole as the hippo walks down during the warm of the day to drink the water. When the hippo arrives, he saw quite a very nice grass, an area not to resist to rest. And when the hippo went down to drink the water, and when he finished the water, he just lied down on the grass. And then, that was the opportunity of the scribe. You know what? Today is my day to pay the revenge.
Okay, there's another big male coming in from our left here. Another big male, look at this. This is the one. Now you're going to see sparks fly, guys. Guys, it doesn't get better than this, eh? Yes, unbelievable. Africa, I love you, eh?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Yeah, I'm still in that area where I'm gonna be checking the very last road, of which this is where I was hoping these lands are gonna come out, but we're in the very last section of that road. So we're just gonna do this small section that's left here, and then if no luck, those lands are definitely still in the block here. So we're just gonna move out of the area and let the guys that are on foot and try find these animals for us, and hoping to find other animals that exist in the reserve. Maybe go look for a leopard or herd of elephants, buffalo in the area. So yeah, busy checking around here and see if anything, but nothing as yet. But there's lots of hyena tracks that are moving up and down this road, because that's what they'll do, follow the lands while they're on the hunt. We're just gonna keep going and see where these tracks lead to, but we haven't had any land tracks. Like back there, we saw quite a few hyena tracks moving up and down. So it's a sign maybe these lands were hunting around here last night. So these hyenas may have been following them the whole night and hoping that they'll take something down, that they might wait for the lands to finish, and then they'll move in and get whatever is left behind by these lions here. Let's hope we find these lions before we leave the area, or hope the guys walking in the block will come across these lions somewhere in the block. Yeah, otherwise hoping to see other animals in the area, like leopard maybe. It would be really nice to see a leopard in this beautiful morning up a tree. As you can see, there's some.
Yep.
Yes, Peter, they are, but depending on how many lions are there, or how many hyenas are there, like if it's maybe enough hyenas, maybe 7, 8 hyenas against one lion. If the lion is at the carcass, most especially the female lions, and then she might end up giving up and leave the carcass to the hyenas. But yeah, with a male lion, then we'll need more hyenas, maybe 15, 20 hyenas against one male lion, and they can manage to push him away from the carcass. Yeah, otherwise, one-on-one, yes, hyenas are scared of lions, because lions from the predators are top of food chain.
Yeah, we're just gonna carry on down this road. I'm hoping that these lions have crossed somewhere here. Otherwise, if they didn't, we're gonna be moving out of the area shortly because we're coming to the end of the road that I was hoping that they'll cross, and then try go see if we can find something else. As I was saying, it will be really nice to see a leopard maybe in the tree in this beautiful light of the morning and watch that. You never know, maybe these hyenas were not following lions because there's no lion track on the road. Maybe they were just following something else because they'll follow different predators that hunt during the night and hope that they'll catch something and then they can move in and also get some of that, because if it's only one leopard, for sure the leopard will lose the carcass to hyenas. That's what they'll do, sometimes follow other predators hunting. But it's not that they don't hunt, they do hunt for themselves. They are responsible for 40% of their own hunts, the hyenas, even more successful than the lions, because these animals, the hyenas, have more stamina. They can keep up the same pace for quite a long time. So yeah, lions can scavenge as well. They can take over from these hyenas. I watched the lioness going up a tree to get the rest of the impala carcass that the leopard was feeding off. Oh, there's got the wildebeest running across the road, which he might be, but he doesn't look really scared. He's just looking around in the direction where he's going. Like I said, those lions may be coming in this direction, but that wildebeest is moving, looks like very relaxed though. He's not in a hurry, like showing a sign of running away from anything. He's just moving carefully through this bush. As you know, they also, the prey species, they can be taken by these lions, so that's why when it moves, more especially Lisa, depending as well, because lions are known taking down elephants. I know in Botswana there was a pride of lions that used to specialize on going for elephants, but yeah, otherwise it will need lots of lions to bring down an elephant. Maybe try separate the young. Yeah, otherwise a mother can be protective to the young. Also the heads will come together and chase the lions away. But yes, if they happen to find a dead elephant, they'll feed off that. But there are rare records of elephants being taken by lions, even though they're so big, Lisa. So yes, they do eat elephant, but to kill an elephant, it's quite a big job for lions. They need to be many of them together to wear him down until maybe separate a young one and take it down. Yeah, as you can see, there's also another head of wildebeest to our left here. Looks so relaxed, of which this is a sign like those lions haven't got this far unless the lions have got lucky in the block where I pointed earlier on, because this wildebeest seems to be very relaxed. That one bull we saw earlier running across the road could be a territorial bull in this area, because wildebeest, the bulls are territorial, so he will hang around more or less in the same area or with other species like impala, zebra for safety, and these females will just join him for a couple of days and then they'll move away from the area. So they may be heading slowly towards where he is. Maybe join him for a couple of days and they'll move away, because if the lions were here, if these animals were picking up the scent from the lions, then they won't be as relaxed as they are. they'll try get away from this area, or if they see a lion, then they'll be alarming. So there's no sign of them being unsettled. So possibly looking for water as well. As I said, these animals will graze in the direction of water, get some water to drink, and then look for a place to lie down midday and wait until afternoons, and then they'll start to graze again, maybe in the direction of another water hole, drink before sunset, and they find a nice and open place to settle down for the night, because that's what they'll prefer, much open area, so that they can see the predators from a distance when they're coming, or if they want to escape, they'll be able to run fast to escape predators. But yeah, so we're just gonna carry on down this road and check the last bit and leave the area if we don't have any luck. Because all these prey species, the wildebeest that we've seen around here, they seems to have been released. Sorry, Jake, I didn't hear that question. Can you come again? Oh, yeah, they, the bulls do. Yes, they do. I've seen wildebeest bulls fighting for territory as well, like during mating season, because they have season like the impalas. You'll find only one bull with all the females. So he's the guy that will possibly mate with those females, and then possibly all the young ones that can be born more or less can be from the same father. As I said earlier, these animals are territorial. So if you happen to have those cows in that territory, that will be all his females. But yeah, sometimes the bulls can group together and become in a bachelor group. See, like I said earlier, these guys will hang around with sometimes zebra, impala for safety. Here's one bull with what we call the dazzle of zebras, collective noun of the zebras. Is called as dazzle. So he's hanging around with these zebras here, possibly lagging behind from that head. I thought the one that we saw earlier could be the main bull of this head that we've just driven past. So unfortunately not. I think this can be the bull of that head that's further behind us, because he's not far from them, and this can be the reason why that one was running away from this direction. So it's possibly running away from this guy. Maybe they've been fighting for the females, and this may be the winner. That's why he stays here, and then this can be possibly his territory. So the other one that we saw earlier may have been intruding this guy, so it's been chased off. So this one is just staying here peacefully in his territory. As you can see, he's together with the zebras grazing there. The one zebra just to the right of him has got a piece of grass in his mouth. They also looks relaxed as well. As I said earlier, it doesn't look like these lions have gotten this far. So we hope they're still in a block, because the trackers are down on foot. Yeah, these animals look so relaxed and peaceful this morning. I don't think they're worried about anything. As I said, they might give some warning calls. We haven't had anything alarming in the area, so yeah, that's the plan. We're just gonna carry on a little bit down the road and see if we can have any luck, or move out of the area, see if we can find something different. Yeah, let's just check this road again and move out in the next 5 minutes or so. and see what else we can find in this beautiful morning.
Herds of wildebeest and zebra to some very slow moving ants on this cool morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's one of those Sundays, if you woke up and you have the day off, it's the best day to just roll over, enjoy a few more moments in your warm bed. Pancakes. These ants, though, never take the day off. Ants are workaholics, all working for the benefit of the colony. They stop moving when temperatures are cold, but when it's warm, they have incredible reserves. Very unselfish.
So everybody, we now back to the line tracks, which looks like they're still leading along this road. They may actually just cut off to my right, but if then continue this way, they may end up for them cross to the west. But quickly I'm going to check the boundary because we won't waste so much time being behind these tracks. Meanwhile, they're already cross over to the other side where we can't follow. So it looks like everything this morning is all about crossing out of Djuma. And then the update about the duck men with the other two, it looks like they also cross into the north, Bevlesook, so they kind of like walk separately, opposite from this ride, where these one now they're moving west back into probably direction of Aratuza in that area. It's a usual way for the lions. Sometimes they can be separated for probably 4 days from one another. And there's a way of reunite again if there's a chance later on. And what they do, those on look for the pride, they may just rotate around within the territory of the whole members of the pride. That's how they're going to keep up or rejoin with the pride. But if they have continued far, that wouldn't really surprise me, because this season, especially at night, the temperature drop completely, so they would use a lot of chances, because then they're full of energies. Richard, so you're asking how long I have been a guide. So since 2006, back there. So being a guide, started as probably filling in a guide, replacing those guys on leave, and then that's where I actually involved being a guide in there. So the wind is a drive, so I'll try to do this so that the wind doesn't really come to my face, otherwise my micro would pick up only the wind. So yeah, that's where I started to guide from until today. We're going to carry on. In the meantime, let's go across to Steve in Prideland.
Well, good luck, Andrew. And most people would think that the size of the poo that we're about to show you is from a lion. Many of you might be surprised. In fact, I wonder if any of you have seen such design before. Now there's more than one here. There's a section over here that's full of what looks like raisins, grevias with fur. There is an enormously large one over there, lots of fur. There looks like some bone in there as well, and this has been used more than once. There's another one over here that's covered in seeds and berries, and I wonder if any of you have seen this animal's scat before. And if you haven't, you'd be quite surprised to know who it belongs to. It's one of our nocturnal animals. So send through any answers if you feel you do have. See if I can find it in my little scatalogue book. I'm not sure if it is in here, but I don't know if the pages are big enough. So it is a type of midden or toilet, so it is reused. So that's a nice, useful factor when bringing it in. I don't think it is in this book, which is quite strange. The common scimitar calling in the background. Use the hashtag WildEarth. Third in on the YouTube chat stream if you know whose poo this is. I know it's a bit early in the morning perhaps, but we're not getting too close in it. We're not going to be poking and prodding. It is a omnivore. Does a seasonal diet, which shifts with the insects and with the fruit, with the berries. Donnie, you say a civet. Well, Donnie, you are 100% correct. And most people would be quite surprised, considering the civet stands about this high from the ground. They have got the largest anus out of any mammal of its size. And a very interesting fact that, I think many people might think that's quite strange, but it is enormous. So I don't really know why civets have to have such enormous droppings, but they do. And they'll use something like this known as a civetry, so a lavatory for civets, which will often have the remains of millipedes in as well. This one doesn't seem to have. Maybe it's a newly established civet moved in. Hasn't got the millipedes yet, but they do feed on millipedes, or what we call in South Africa shongololos. There we go. There's actually a little bit of a millipede ring right over there. So I think this civet tree has been around for a while and maybe it's just starting over again. And those millipede rings are actually quite high in calcium. So you'll have certain animals who will come and feed on the millipede rings to try and help them with their calcium diet, the likes of tortoises. But we're not going to touch it. Touching omnivore scat and poo is really not advisable, unless you do fancy getting all sorts of weird parasites inside your digestive system. So avoid doing that altogether because, well, nice to stay healthy. But it is surprising, and it is really an interesting sort of find. This will be a sort of territorial marker for other civets when they come into the area. And we do see civet tracks a lot here and around, and you'll often find them along sort of game paths. This is a nice game path that cuts through from that section, comes through onto the other side here. There's a little bit of a crossroads here, and you'll find a number of animals might utilize a certain area, because if you are going somewhere quite quickly, territorial marker or a signpost is obviously very, very useful. Okay, well, that's about it for... Oh, see, there's actually more in here. It's been around for a while. You see all the millipede rings over there. All the whiteness shows you from a diet from more of a summer feeding period.
The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, encourages people to care for the earth. Through innovative projects, they aim to reverse the serious issues that we face in the world today. One of these projects is Green Coast, a proudly South African award for sensitive and well-managed coastal sites. This sustainability project protects our national coastlines while providing unemployed youth with a love for their environment and a hope for the future. WESA is a membership and volunteer-supported organisation. Every supporter is helping to change the only earth we have. Visit our website to see how you can help care for our earth.
It's day one of the annual South African Guide of the Year competition, and our first foot into this competition this morning is all about tracks and signs.
We're going to call you in one at a time. Just look at it, the information will be there.
Our 5 guides have been tasked by the judges at figuring out who is what is who, and where they go in the bush.
Either Franklin or guinea fowl, but because of the volume of other deposits in the area, we went with guinea fowl.
Detailing the surrounding that you need to look out for tracks. The details is very important.
I've seen something I've never seen here before. Look at these cubs. One is crossing the river, it's being washed away, unfortunately, but I'm sure the mother is going to save her. Look at that. How beautiful. Look at that. One crossing, 2 to go. How cool is this?
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Sadly, I'm back on dam cam. Not ideal. But dearest Wendy is not doing okay. Oh, look at that little squirrel who was just drinking. Very sweet. So, of course, the dam cam's not exactly the easiest way to show animals, but I do look forward to answering your questions. At least this way we can get into a discussion and talk about whatever you would like to talk about. It's very open-ended, so please do send them in for me. I've got a cup of coffee And I'm definitely ready to answer some of your questions on the dam cam. Hopefully, Wendy will be ready to go for this afternoon. Mr. Grey Heron. Jamie, sadly not. Sadly not. I like to be out there. We're very lucky that we have the dam cam. Everyone in the world can tune in. But for me, I like to be on that vehicle, driving around, smelling, seeing, hearing, feeling. But of course, this is a fantastic tool. But I have never seen anything. While I've been on shift, I know that the dam cam has picked up leopards mating, lions chasing a leopard up a tree. Absolutely, it's a fantastic tool. But sadly, not during my shift. It's wonderful just to sit and play in the background, especially if you want to relax or if you're missing the outdoors, sort of reconnecting yourself to nature, especially since many people have been in lockdown or are still in lockdown. It's a fantastic thing just to put on in the background. But you never know, that maybe will change today. I will get my dam cam sighting. Luke Skywalker, I do appreciate your question, but I really am not sure that it's comparable in any way. I'm not even sure I can make that link. It's two extremely different environments. Naturally, underwater, if you're using a scuba tank, your time is limited. You only have as much time as the oxygen in your tank. If you're free diving or snorkeling, then of course it's slightly different. I really think I'm stumped. I'm not sure I can make that comparison. I've had epic sightings in both the water and on land. And I've been lucky enough to find some incredible things on the reef, including the very, very, very small things. The macrofauna, we call it. And it's probably easier to find the small things underwater and the bigger things on land. I've definitely got the eye for the small things, especially when summer rolls around. But I'm not sure I'm able to make the comparison that you're wanting to have me make, I'm afraid. So I'm going to sit here with my coffee on the dam cam, and we're going to send you guys over to another live location.
Yeah, as I said, we're going to be moving into the center of the reserve. Look what we've just found now. There's a journey of giraffes moving slightly from west to east. So far you can see two there, but there is a third one that might join them, possibly coming from behind the trees. As you can see, if you look at these two animals that we can see now, the one on the left is a bit taller and the one on the right is shorter. So one on the left is a young male. That's why he looks still a bit light in color. It's a pity there's not enough light with this overcast weather, but beautiful animals. And then otherwise the one on the right is a female. So that's how you can tell the sexes from a distance, because size-wise the males will be larger than the females. Even the horns, if you look at the horns, you can see the taller one has got much thicker horns. As you can see, it's moving away because the bigger one is coming now, joining them there, chasing the young guy away. That's also a dominancy thing, trying to get him away. See, there they go. Wow. You hardly see giraffes run like that. Yeah, otherwise from a distance you can tell by looking at the horns, of which the male's horns will be thicker and the females will be thinner and hairy on top like a paintbrush, as you can see. Difficult to see the top of the horns of that male because he's focusing on chasing that young male away. Otherwise, his horns are thicker and worn down from fighting because they fight a lot for dominancy or for the females. They sing those necks and bang each other quite hard. Looks like they're just playing, but if you're close to where they are, you hear them hitting each other so bad. So that's what makes the horns to be well worn like that. Otherwise, the males will grow slightly bigger than the females, and they generally become more dark in color as they get old. As you saw, the younger one that's been chased away, he was a bit light in color. So that female is looking north. The direction in where she's looking from where I am is northeast. I had an impala alarm calling earlier on in that direction. That's where those guys are following the lion tracks on foot. So she possibly had that impala that I had earlier alarm calling. I know you may have not heard that because it sounds quite far. So these animals are not just warning the animals of their own species, they warn all the animals that are in the area. As you can see, the giraffe is turning around and walking away from the direction where she was looking. So she knows these impalas are maybe worried of something. So that's the direction where she wanted to go. But with the impala giving warning call, she's decided, no, that's not safe. That's why she's going the other way. So after watching these giraffes, we're gonna turn around and go back, even though I was planning to move out of this area. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna spend another 5 or 10 minutes and go back in the direction where the impala was alarm calling, and we'll stop somewhere in the block here and listen to see if we can hear that impala alarm call and see what the impala is telling us about. Because these animals don't just do that for nothing. They'll definitely be warning all the prey species that are in the area that, guys, you must watch out. There's a lion or a leopard here. But for me, as a human being, that's an impala alarm calling, which is very interesting. Like these alarm calls to all the wild animals, it will be the same sort of sound that will have different meanings because they know exactly when the impala is alarming, doing this, it's a lion, and then this is a leopard, this is impala. I mean, while I'm telling them about a cheetah, but for me, I just had the impala alarm calling. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to leave these giraffes and go back to see if we can stop somewhere. Yes, he will, but what they do, they can be with these guys now, and then in a few days, once he's mated with this female, he might move and go somewhere else, because the male giraffes can move from one journey to another for breeding purposes, yeah, but he's the most dominant of the two at the moment. This is like trying to keep the strongest genes within the area. But a guy like that, the big one that we saw moving in and chase the young one away, he's the most dominant of the two. So definitely there might be more animals in the area of which, yeah, they will travel in a very elusive structure of which sometimes you may see one while there's more than what you can see, but they can see each other above the treetops. Let's not waste time and go back to where the impala was alarm calling, even though it's gone quiet now. I'm hoping to have luck and hear that impala alarm calling again and see what's worrying that impala, because the direction where the impala is alarm calling, that's exactly in the block where those lion tracks are moving east from. So I'm hoping that the lions are there somewhere in the block.
Good luck, Dyke, finding the lions. Hopefully you do. And so our lions, eventually they got them on the west where we can't go. Only found out, and then we have to give up that area, come back to middle of the Djuma, search around for anything else, hoping to find. Would be an antelope, would be buffaloes. Well, I haven't seen buffalo likely, so it doesn't mean that they're not around. It's so that they have such a big home range they operate. Watering hole everywhere, just drink as they go. But one day they will return back here again, the whole herd. So now I'm gonna search once again, because we left these elephants last time. They were coming this way, so hopefully we bump on them. Or maybe come across the unknown leopard around here that we can follow. But everybody's been looking for leopards this morning, and of course there's been reports and everything that the leopards and no lions have crossed over to the other side. So mainly our leopards, they come from the other west. Got a Kara there, got a Shidulu there. They also come into Djuma. And then on the east we got Kalamba, we got Tandi up in Torchwood, where she sometimes show up as well. So those are the females I just mentioned. I haven't heard of Ansela yet, which is always up in the northeast into that side, Beblisuk. So Heather, you asking would the lions' activity affected the leopards, and why? So that can affect if it's so many big cats in the area. Of course, leopards, there will be less leopards, and then that is because they don't cooperate. Wherever it's lions, such as the leopards or even cheetah, they wouldn't stick around in that area because they're smallest cats, and competition it's all about that they feed on a variety, the same food source. So that's all about competition. That's why they won't cooperate. So, but also the cat's habits. We're in an area where it's so many of a thicket. They still have maybe leopards around, because then they still have their own habits, where lions would prefer maybe to get into the maybe open field, tall grasses, where leopards would prefer to be in a river, and that's how they hunt in there. So back in the days, I know so Joey age 14, you're asking these old brown grasses would it turn green when the season, the raining season arrive? Yes, all of these grasses will turn green, or for sure before the rain rained, all of these grass that you see, it's going to be already completely down, flat. But the regrowth is going to take place that time. So all of the dry grasses, it will also go back to the ecosystem where rejuvenate, such as a compost, that will actually make to regrow again to these grasses. So yeah, it's all gonna turn green, even the places where it's burned up. It's already gonna be such a beautiful green that's gonna be shooting there. So we're gonna check Gari Dam on the eastern side, see what we're gonna find.
We were just sitting on the dam cam watching this heron. The sun's still at that point where, oh, I think we've got some Egyptian geese as well, where it's quite bright and it's making nice reflections on the dam. That heron looks like he's stalking the geese, but I don't think he is. He's just intrigued. What are they eating? But I find it nice and peaceful to just sit and watch the birds on the dam and listen to all the sounds around. So let's just take a moment or two to do exactly that. Yes, and it's so lovely. Grey herons are actually one of my favorite birds to sit and watch.
Welcome back, everyone. we have come across some vivid monkeys that are providing quite a bit of entertainment for us. It's actually so nice. We've parked at a bit of a distance, so they scattered off at first. They all are coming out and being very playful. And you see the one on the right, she's actually got her legs spread out just like a human. And she's busy picking through, checking for any ticks. And there's the young one in front. It's just going to sit on her leg there. And actually look at how it's leaning its head forward. I thought it was actually going to go for her teeth. She's got swollen teeth there. But I actually think it's more inclining its head so she can groom that little one there. And see how its head's tilted and she's busy picking through, looking for any sort of ticks. The one behind her on her right is doing the same to another monkey. So I think we're going to just sit and watch these little vervets for a little while. But Steve's got something quite interesting to show you on bushwalk. So let's see what he's up to.
Welcome back to a raiding party. A party of hissing ants that have successfully raided a termite mound somewhere nearby. They're on their way back. Very different sort of column from when you normally see ants moving to and fro. But hissing ants, I wonder if you're going to be able to listen. Just have a little listen quickly when I blow some CO2 onto them. It's a defense mechanism of being stood on. They move away because a buffalo or a rhino would be walking here, and the oxygen or the CO2 expulsion would obviously indicate to the ants that they're about to get trodden on, and they hiss and they go in every direction to sting whatever it is that might hurt them. And animals learn very quickly to avoid those and to avoid these ants because they sting. It is very sore. They are related to wasps, ants, and these fellows can sting quite painfully. I've been stung twice before. It was not pleasant. Not pleasant. It's actually incredibly painful. And there goes the head of the column, like a party. Their whole mouths off. All of them seem to be carrying a termite or two. Sometimes they might even be carrying individuals of their own war party that, see how they know I'm here. They want to come and get me. Hey, I'm not here to fight, guys. I'm just investigating. Hello. Very aggressive. Very aggressive ants. And here comes the end of the tail. So they go and they find a termite mound that is open. They go in, they fight. The termites obviously lose quite a number of individuals. But then they fight back with incredibly powerful soldier ants, or should I say termites, that sometimes kill some of these ants. So they will actually pick up their fallen and go back, but it's sustainable. They harvest a few and they go back with their quarry, back to their nest, which could be somewhere, I'm not sure where. They're all slowed down now over the rough terrain here. Green, fascinating indeed. Ants in the morning. Ants on a Sunday morning, Corinne, are very, very cool. These are one of the coolest ants to find. They are very entertaining for guests to get off and have a listen to the noise that they make. And some people I've worked with have actually encouraged young boys to be brave enough to get stung. You know what young boys are like? I'll do it. Ava, you want to get stung? He's standing very far away. He's obviously been through the process before. So I got stung once underneath my toe, and it throbbed and throbbed for about 2 days, and then I had sort of like a pins and needles feeling in that area for about a week. Like an itchy pins and needles feeling. So not very nice. Not something I encourage you doing, getting yourself stung. They don't die like a bee will after stinging you. So it's not like you're killing ants, but just be careful where you step, or it might be a painful one. Okay, well, let's send you back over to Kim with her monkeys.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's hope Steve's all right after all those stings. As you can see, we've decided to stay with our monkeys for a little bit longer, the vervet monkeys. And I'm so glad we did, because they are very entertaining. You can see that little one in the front is just being a typical young, I suppose, animal of any sort. You know, they're actually called infants, which, yeah, just reminds me so much of a naughty child. Just wants to play, you know, while mom's busy combing its hair, grooming it. And it is not having it. It doesn't want to sit still for too long. So funny to watch. What is hilarious is the ones at the back, you can actually see it's grooming the other one's bum. The tail's right upright. And it's going right in there. A point where we wouldn't often think that that you'd like to groom, but you know, animals, they're not too worried about those things. That's probably where a lot of ticks have found themselves. I love watching this one on the right, the legs straight out, sting just like a human. No, sorry, that's actually a young one in front of it that's lying down. Such funny animals to watch. Now, all of this grooming, you know, any animals that want to keep their bonds tight with one another, they'll spend a lot of time grooming each other. In particular, you see it with lions as well. So after they've made a kill, when they're busy trying to fight over the carcass, there's a lot of snarling and snapping at each other. It can be quite aggressive, trying to get as much meat as they each can. And then once they're finished, there's a very long grooming process that they undergo. And it's because they need to sort of reinstate those bonds after all of that fighting over the carcass. So that's one of the purposes. Obviously, the other purpose is to get, you know, for these vervet monkeys, to get the ticks off. But you can see how quite a few will go and groom different monkeys, so it's not necessarily just their related ones. You can see that male just got up at the right-hand side. He's got bright blue balls, and he's actually even got a swollen anus, which is quite interesting. I haven't noticed that on vervet monkeys before. Definitely baboons, but that's more the females. It's interesting that his is swollen. These vervet monkeys are the ones that we get here. We actually get a different type of monkey very close to Phinda on the coastline called the Simango monkey. But they're just slightly out of range. We don't get them here at Phinda. See, there's one on the left. It's got a little stick there. I think it's got some old flowers on it. It's busy feeding on that. Lucy, that's a very good question. I've never seen it myself, but they are omnivorous, so they will go for like small insects and things. In terms of actually hunting smaller animals, I don't think so. It's a very good question, but I think it's more insects, fruit, grass seeds, and those sort of things. I know baboons will hunt small animals, and they can feed on meat, but I think they are more adapted at that sort of thing. They're a lot bigger, they've got stronger teeth, and they're able to do something like that. But I think monkeys is more insects. So nice to actually watch them just in behaving naturally. I'm sure a lot of people who visited lodges in South Africa know that these can be a bit of a pest around the lodge. You know, even in other areas of Africa, in the cities and towns, they learn to steal food. You know, they're very nimble and can jump into windows and things. Become a bit of a pest around those areas. So it's always so nice to see them in their natural habitat, you know, fending for themselves. And they're not trying to steal your biscuits off your plate. Oh, there's such a small one on the left-hand side. Oh, look at that. That's actually so interesting. So now, I think we just missed that. There was two on the side. The one actually looked like it was going to try and mate with the other one, but it was far too young. So when they do that, you see there's the young one. The other one ran off, and now one's joining it. But when they do a display like that, it's often just a sign of dominance. You can see the other two playing in the background there. One running forward. How cute is this? How cute. You see that one? It like picked off a tick and then ran behind almost as if it done something wrong. Doesn't seem to know quite what to do with itself. I think it wants to groom this one on the left, but it's feeling a bit insecure. I agree with you guys. I think they are always doing something entertaining. That's the best thing about monkeys. You literally just can sit and watch them for so long. You know, they're playing. Look at that one playing there. They're jumping around. And this one's decided it wants to join the ones in the front as well. What if they're going to form a sort of grooming train? Look at that. Oh, no. That is just too precious. Reminds me of those massage chains you used to form as kids. I think what we're going to do, we're going to leave these monkeys for now. It's a pity they are being so cute. But I think it's time to maybe see what else we can find. And we'll head off throughout the open plain, see if we can find some wildebeest or zebra, something around here. It was lovely to watch these ones for a little while though.
The Endangered Wildlife Trust fights at the forefront of conservation, across the vast karoo and sweeping grasslands, in remote pockets of forest, along road networks, across African skies, and in communities to conserve our wildlife and wild spaces. Help us to protect forever, together. Donate now at ewt.org.za.
And I turned to Shaun and I saw that she had this panicked look on her face. Either she was afraid that something had happened or she was afraid that she was going to miss out on something. But instead of her missing out on those lions, we drove up next to them and I switched off the car so that she could hear what was going on. Now, these lions had killed a kudu, and she could hear these two cubs, both 8 months old at the time, busy pushing and shoving each other out the way to get to the best parts of the meat. And the mom was lying just to the side in the shade. Now, I'd known that before losing her sight, Shaun probably knew what a lion looked like. But I really wanted her to know what this lion looked like. So for the first time in my guiding career, I started to describe to someone what a lion looked like. And I found that, I started to notice things in that lion that I'd never seen before.
You are cheeky. That was a brave decision. Amber Eyes is... Oh. That is so magic. That was absolutely wonderful. Amber Eyes just gave that cub an enormous hug.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Delivering 6 hours of HD wildlife content live every day is no small feat. It's a massive team effort and we all rely on one another. Cam ops have a bit of work to do in the morning, up nice and early, get all the checks out of the way and make sure we're ready to go live. Helping others fall in love with nature brings meaning to what I do. It's also a lot of fun.
So everybody back with us here in Djuma. We've been actually traveling around here hoping to find anything we could. But we got a velvet monkey sitting right in the top of that looks like a tamboti tree or if I'm not mistaken that. Oops, jump. And they're very active, the velvet monkeys, because they're only active during the day. Forage around, looking for food, but sitting right on top, always better chance of them see around for a safety. So we're right actually on the north side of a Gari Dam. You may experience some of a knocking where probably some work going on in a camp there. It's somewhere there in the middle, hovering around. They feed on variety difference, on gum from trees, feed on insects, beetles. These guys. Fruit very much, berries, except for meat. I haven't actually seen them eat meat, but vegetarian pretty much. So everybody, we're going to move on, continue search. In the meantime, let's see what Lauren's got for us, probably birds.
Wendy's back on drive. It doesn't take Mr. Opa very long. We need to show you Opa one day. Try and put him on the camera. We always talk about him, but I feel he deserves some camera time. Now, we're not going to go much past quarantine this morning. We're just going to do very, very slow loops, because quarantine is a really productive area. And here we have a bit of a party. We have the yellow-billed hornbills buffalo weavers, starlings, ring-necked dove, and we also had a white-crowned shrike. But I don't know where it's gone. Is that one flown off, Dove?
I think he did, yeah.
Everybody's here at this bird party. I don't see it anymore. But sometimes if you just sit still for long enough, they all start swooping down. And a lot of the hornbills, both the yellow-billed and the red-billed, are unbelievably habituated to the vehicle. Sometimes they will just not move. I mean, within centimetres of the vehicle. They just completely refuse to move. I don't know if any of you have sort of seen the species of hornbills around the world, but they're absolutely incredible. I was looking for my trumpeter hornbill the other day, but I didn't get lucky. But in Southeast Asia, if any of you are on Google right now or on the internet, check them out. You get some of the most incredible looking hornbills. You get the Oriental pied hornbill. I think that's actually one of my favorites. You get the rhinoceros hornbill. I'm sure you can only begin to imagine what that one looks like. I'm not able to show you the images from my phone, but they're definitely worth a look. You get the black hornbill. That's a very interesting looking bird. You also get the wreathed hornbill, the great hornbill. They're all incredible. Just Google hornbills of Southeast Asia and the sort of species diversity, and the adaptations are just incredible. But definitely the Oriental pied hornbill is my favourite. You mostly find that in sort of Malaysia and riverine forest areas. That's on my bird list. Hornbills make me laugh, not entirely when they are wakening me up, though, I must say. They have this really terrible habit of knocking their beak on glass doors, literally like a knock. Like a... That's what you hear on your window. And you think, oh, someone's at the door. And you go to the door and no one's there. And then you look down and there's just a red-billed hornbill looking up at you. And you think, what do you want? There's a sort of theory that they see their own reflection. So they're pecking at their own reflection. But I watch them day in and day out, and I'm not entirely sure I buy that. I don't have an alternate explanation. But it's not always when there's a reflection. I don't know why they do it. They just tap on the glass, tick, tick, tick. And when you're trying to have a nap, it's, yeah. You panic. You think someone's at your door. We've got some birds in camp now that just walk into the kitchen and help themselves. Literally, they just waddle in and completely help themselves to food. Oh, it's hilarious. Marissa, you're asking, do hornbills only eat insects? There's actually a huge variety of hornbill species. I mean, out here you do get the grey hornbill, the yellow hornbill, the red-billed, the trumpeter, the ground hornbill. I mean, the ground hornbill, the southern ground hornbill out here, they have a really, really diverse diet. They're remarkable hunters. But if you're talking about this yellow-billed here, they do eat mostly insects, but of course in winter that's hard. I've been chatting lately a lot about the diapause, the insects going dormant, the great diapause, where the insect life that once flourished diminishes completely. There are still some insects around, but really not that many. So the yellow-billed hornbills, for example, they will eat fruits and seeds. Also reptiles, your small little geckos, they will eat that. Maybe small little frogs. They have quite a diverse diet, the yellow-billed. And to be honest, the red-bill's actually pretty much the same. They also have a very diverse diet. They prefer insects. that they will really eat anything they can, especially in winter. Whereas when you think of the ground hornbill, the huge birds, they will eat squirrels, mongoose, hares, lizards, snake, tortoises, African land snails. They have a much sort of larger diet. I actually had a sighting on quarantine one day with ground hornbills eating a scrub hare. So it really depends what species you're talking about, but the yellow-billed and the red-billed, like we have here, they have quite a broad diet. They really will be eating whatever they can, from small little ants that are running around to fruits and seeds. Got to adapt. But then, of course, when summer rolls back round again, life becomes a lot easier because insects are everywhere, especially termites. Yummy. And termites are actually eaten by so many animals out here, from your hyenas, your leopards, birds of prey. Birds of prey will swoop down just for the termites and spend a long time on the ground trying to catch them. And that's because termites really are nutritious and delicious. They're packed with protein, really, really high in fats. All your amino acids, they're extremely nutritious for many animals out here for their size. It's almost like taking a multivitamin. It was such a lovely bird party. We're going to slowly just bumble around quarantine and see what else we can find for the morning.
So, good luck, Lauren. And then I was hoping to actually relocate on these herd of elephants that we're seeing in this area, but no luck. So they probably maybe went into a thick, and they went stationary in there. So we're just gonna drive around here, see what else we're gonna find, because with elephant, they're so big animals, so they slightly far from the road. But Djuma itself, it's quite a lot of a drainage line system. So a lot of time you drive downhill and then uphill, across the rivers, this drainage line system. There's quite a lot of them. And this is where the food for an elephant, in terms of browsing, it's there. So they would feed on trees, branches. But we're experiencing a little bit of a cold front that is still blowing through. Maybe it could be some of the reason that won't be up in a hill a lot. Take another road, drive to the south. Maybe we find more of these herd, because it's not only the herd that we've seen, there's probably more of them around here.
Wow, just find this Africa's large land mammal of
which, if you look at the size of the tusks, they very impressive, because we don't see many elephants with big tusks like this, even though they're not as thick, but the length of the size is quite impressive, because normally they'll have very shorter tusk, even if it's a very large animal. If you look at those tusks, they've been looked after very well, of which normally there will be one that's shorter than the other, of which these animals, being mixed feeders, they'll use those tusks for peeling the bark off the trees, as well as digging until the one get worn down or breaks off. Yeah, like once it's broken off, doesn't grow back, of which is interesting though. So yeah, for that, the broken one will be the most dominant one. That's the one that's the animal's been using more and more for peeling the bark off the trees, as well as digging. So this is more or less same like us being right or left-handed. So this is just a solitary bull on his own, unless he's just trailing the rest of the herd, as these animals sometimes will just trail the herd from a distance and follow them. Every now and then they'll catch up. Besides, he's a very large bull. Sometimes he'll just move from one herd to another, as you hear sort of like grumbling sound. He's trying to communicate with the rest of the herd, maybe other bulls in the area, because they'll travel in small group of bulls, of which maybe of the same age, travel together looking for food and water. Once in a while, when you come onto mast, being in mast is like a female on hit, he's going to need to find the female, so he'll leave the rest of the bulls. This is when he'll cover huge distance, because these animals are not territorial, they just roam around. Very large home ranges, of which he'll move from one herd to another, trying to check if there's females on oostras and that he can breed with them. So yeah, that's interesting though. Yeah, like mentioned this morning on my intro, I'm not alone. I've got Morgan on the camera. Morgan just spotted another elephant. If you look in the distance above his right tusk, there is another elephant bull that's slowly walking this way. Like I said, that rumbling noise was just like communicating with either the herd or other bulls in the area that's traveling together with him, because they'll travel in small groups of bulls. So there is another animal in the area. So that's what he was trying to do, talking to him like, I'm over here. As you can see, just not far, there's a starling. Beautiful bird just flew off that one small bush and landed again not too far from that elephant. These birds are quite clever. They know it's not easy for them to catch insects in this long grass. They'll follow these animals moving through this long grass, because as the elephant is feeding off the grass, then he also disturb or flush the insects for these birds. As you can see, it's not only one species of bird there. The fork-tailed drongo sitting and prodding himself in the bush just behind the elephant there, while the starling have spotted an insect ahead of the drongo. So the starling decided to go down and catch whatever he saw that the elephant spooked in the long grass, and the drongo is just waiting for his turn, which is really interesting how cooperative these animals work together and how they know to follow these animals walking through this grass. Yeah, as you can see, now he's out in the open. You can see the size of the tusks that I was talking about. And then slowly walking towards Oslova. Yes, he is. Even for me, like I mentioned, that we don't get to see animals this magnificent. He's really an impressive animal. As you can see how peaceful he's walking there. Yeah, it's a very beautiful animal, large size, also nice pair of tusks that suits him. Sometimes you'll see an animal this big, but not with the tusks those size. That's why I was so happy to see one like that, because there's not many of those around. I'm just gonna go forward a bit, see if we can have another good view of him, because it seems like he's moving slowly away from us. I'm hoping there's another big one, because the last time I saw one large elephant was maybe 2-3 years ago, with a nice pair of tusks that were almost touching the ground. But since a while ago, I haven't seen that elephant bull in the area, which is very impressive to see something like this, because yes, Kevin, his tusks are dirty, because these animals sometimes they'll go wallow in mud just to cool themselves down. The mud helps for cooling as well as suffocating the ticks. Once the mud dries on the skin, and he'll go rub himself against the trees as the mud comes off and pull the ticks off. Sometimes he happened to rest his trunk over his tusks. That's how he got that mud that made his tusks so dirty. But sometimes they will go for a swim, and then he'll dip his trunk in the water, and then not like trying to clean up the tusks, just by resting the trunk again over the tusks. When the trunk is wet, sometimes the water will clean up those tusks, and they will look beautiful white, as well as they go to swim when it's very, very hot. And then that's when those tusks get really cleaned up. Sometimes you'll see one with nice and beautiful clean tusks. Also, like I said, they use them for peeling the bark off the trees. Sometimes you put the tip of the tusk quite deep into the bark. That sometimes happen to clean those tusks. Sometimes you'll see these animals with the very dirty tusk, but the very tip, the sharp point of the tusk will be a bit clean. But when they go to swim, yes, those tusks get washed out, and the mud will removed by water when they go to swim, because when it's really hot, sometimes these animals will go by the large water holes while in mud, maybe take a swim as well, because they like to be cool when it's really, really hot. But today it was a beautiful day. It was not very hot, but you can see beautiful light. The sun is just breaking through the clouds, so he's not even flapping his ears to cool himself down, so it's cooler for him too. Yeah, we're just gonna leave these animals and get on down, hope to find something else. That was really nice to see a large elephant bull like this.
here at the Advanced Rifle Handling Challenge, which is actually lots of challenges in one to gauge the contestants' skills at different distances and different speeds. This is probably the challenge that the contestants are the most nervous about. So let's get them locked and loaded. Are now doing the Haley's Halt, where they have to run back and forth to a target, turn, take aim, and shoot. And this simulates a chase in a real environment and gets the heart pumping and the blood pressure up. James gave us a demonstration, and the skill involved in this exercise is remarkable.
Oh, it's going to be in trouble now. Oh, this is unbelievable stuff. Here comes a hippo in too. Go, Impala. There's a hippo coming in. I can't believe what we're seeing here. This is what we normally see in East Africa. It's all over. Hippo leaping at the crocodile now. Everything's gone underwater.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth Daily.
Our bumble around quarantine has not been so fruitful just yet. I see the lion tracks from last night that Andrew was originally following. I believe they've crossed west, so the Talamatis have now ventured west. The movements of the Talamatis right now are really quite unpredictable. We're just looking to see if we can find anything else. It's a core area in Djuma, lots of movement. Let's see if we can get these impala over here, Dom. These guys all know exactly what happened last night. And this morning, young boys. Oh, that one in the back is older, but the two in the front that are having a little canoodle are definitely younger boys. Maybe we'll just take a moment or two to watch them. And listen. I've been out of the loop of the drive, so we can listen to see if we can hear what's going on around us. You are so mighty fine, young boy. You can see, look at the comparison on the horns there, how much the horn changes shape as they get older. Why are you looking at us? We're looking at you. You can't gauge the age of an impala through looking at the horns. It's a really good giveaway when you're looking at male impalas. Thank you for being here, impalas. We are going to finally take Wendy home and give her some rest, and we're going to send you guys over to Andrew to close the show.
So happy for you, Lauren, that you even see impala around. So my site this morning was even harder to find impala. Maybe I was actually searching on a very different area, and then they're one of their great antelope to spend time, see how they do, see how they feed, especially in the... So my site actually has been very quiet on my search. Was not really successful. Started from that leopard, and then they have crossed over to the west. Leopard has crossed to the north. So I've been actually still on a search here, hoping to find another tracks for cats such as a leopard to track it down. But unfortunately, not yet. So all I'm hoping maybe this afternoon is going to be the best, because this drive that we're making every time, it's very different. Some minutes you see a lot, some minutes you don't see much. I don't know what is a big case in there. Oh, there's all the... I think there's vultures hovering up in the sky there. We're just going to try and put them on the frame. There it is. They're white-backed vultures. I'm not sure what they've seen. You know, maybe they're very good on a hunt. They can smell, especially with an open sky like this. They can able to pick up the thermos and then go directly to where the kill is. So we can't actually... They're right above us, so... Very difficult to frame these. They're up actually very far from us. So everybody, we are coming in the end of this morning's show for today. So we all just want to thank you so much for being a part of the show for this morning. But this afternoon we'll be on again. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.